Welcome back, and we are on week 2, the laws 4 through 6, but we're going to recap a little bit on laws number 1 through 3. Law number 1 is the law of the lid. Your leadership ability determines your level of effectiveness, so learning more about leadership will increase our effectiveness as leaders. Law number 2 is the law of influence. A true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And then law number 3 is the law of process. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. So today we're on law number 4, the law of navigation, probably one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites probably because this is one of the laws that I'm stronger in. You're going to find laws that you're stronger in. You're going to have your strengths, and those are the laws that you will navigate towards and you will focus on more. So the law of navigation is anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. First-rate navigators always have in mind that other people are depending on them and that their ability to chart a good course. Before leaders can take their people on a journey, they go through a process in order to give the trip the best chance of being successful. Navigators draw on past experiences. Every past success and failure you've experienced can be valuable in your journey as a leader. They are a valuable source of information and wisdom, these past experiences. Success teaches you what you're capable of doing and gives you confidence. However, your failures can often teach you greater lessons if you allow them to. If you fail to learn from your mistakes, you're going to fail again and again. Navigators examine the conditions before making commitments. No good leader plans a course of action without paying attention to current conditions. Good navigators count the cost before making commitments for themselves and others. Navigators listen to what others have to say. Navigating leaders get ideas from many sources. They listen to members of their leadership team. They spend time with leaders of other organizations who can mentor them, and they always think in terms of relying on a team, not just themselves. Navigators can make sure their conclusions represent both faith and fact. A leader has to possess a positive attitude. If you can't confidently make the trip in your mind, you're not going to be able to make it in real life. On the other hand, you also have to be able to see the facts realistically. If you don't go in your eyes wide open, you're going to be blindsided. Balancing optimism and realism, faith and fact can be very difficult. So let's talk about our goal to work up the career path in our organization. That is what we're all here for, is to build our leadership skills and to build those in our team and to move up the career path. So as you're wanting to go to the next level, you need to know, how am I going to get there? Whether it's you have to have team sales, you have to have PICAs, you might have to have a certain number in your personal volume. Whatever those are, you need to know what those are. You need to be realistic, but you have to also have faith in yourself that you can get there. And what is it going to take to get you there? You have to have a course of action. Navigation requires a vision. You have to see where you're going. What is your destination? And you have to begin with the end in mind. Navigation requires understanding of the future. What is the temperature? What is it going to look like? How am I going to get there? Navigation requires accurate interpretation of the past. Okay, what's my track record look like? Does it look like I'm going to be able to make it on the course I'm on, or do I have to reroute my course? To navigate for others, you must know the way, show the way, and go the way. So here is our action plan. We need to predetermine a course of action, and for us that is moving to the next level in our business, but for others it's helping them to get to their next level. We need to lay out our goals. What is it going to take to get there? We need to adjust our priorities. We can't just focus on sales if we want to get to the next level. It will never happen. You have to have a plan. And if that means promoting leaders, then you need to have a leadership development plan. Whatever it is that worked for you, try that first. Adjust it as needed. There's not a written formula that works for everyone. Notify key personnel. This means who around you needs to know what your plan is. It might be your husband. It might be a loved one. It might be your family. You might need to say, hey, I'm focusing on this right now. This is what I'm working on. Does your upline need to know? Does your downline need to know? Does your accountability partner need to know? Then allow time for acceptance. Sometimes the hardest one is your husband. He doesn't always fully understand why you're doing what you're doing. My husband wasn't fully on board until I took him to the leadership incentive trip. He was in. After that, he was gung-ho for everything we did. Head into action. This is where most people stop, right here. They get the acceptance and they don't head into action. You have to do the action steps. You have to have a plan of action for yourself, and you have to have a plan of action for your future leaders. Please make sure that you know to expect problems and look, it's funny, you have to have a good attitude about your problems. You can't get frustrated every time you encounter a problem, or you're going to probably shut down really quickly. Then always point to success. Sorry about that. Always point to success. So whether it's you or your team members, you're always going to celebrate the small clouds, because every time there's a small cloud, they're building and it's building, and then you're going to be showered with success and you are enjoying your journey. And the last thing, it says daily review your plan. And when you're reviewing your plan, you have to focus on your goals up here. And again, are you adjusting your priorities? Is there somebody else you need to notify? Are you allowing time for acceptance? Are you heading into action? Are you expecting the problems, and are you pointing to success? You have to do this daily and ask yourself daily, am I planning ahead? Law number 5 is the law of addition. Leaders add value by serving others. Adding profits is important. We are in business. We are in business to make money. That's what we do this for. I mean, if we just wanted to be in a sorority, we could go join a sorority. Yes, we do get benefits from our sisterhood, and it is amazing. I'm not going to say it's not, because it was one of the hugest blessings to me. But you are in this to make business, or to make profits. Costco CEO Jim Sinegal believes that success of Costco comes from treating his employees well. The employees are paid an average of 42% more than the company's chief rival, and they also receive generous health care coverage. So this is great, but we run a voluntary program. It's for profit, but it's a voluntary program. We can't pay people more, but guess what? We can help them get paid more. You have to help them understand that if they're recruiting, they're building their income. If they're booking, they're building their income. They are increasing their paycheck by the activities they do, and we have to help them understand that. The bottom line in leadership isn't how far we advance ourselves, but how far we advance others. There's one critical question. Are you making things better for the people who follow you, or are you frustrating them? Are you putting pressure on them that they have to do this, they have to do that, or do it your way? There's not just one way to make these things happen. There's many ways that a person can be successful. So if you can't answer with an unhesitant yes, then you likely aren't adding value to others. 90% of all people who add value to others do so intentionally. Adding value means changing lives. 4 guidelines for adding values to others is truly valuing others. Effective leaders go beyond not harming others. They intentionally help others. They must value people and demonstrate they care in such a way that their followers know it. Make yourself more valuable to others, and by doing this, the more intentionally you have been in growing personally, the more you have to offer others. Know and relate to what others value. This can only come by listening to your people's stories, their hopes and their dreams, and learning what is valuable to them, and then lead based on what you've learned. And the last one is do things that God values. God desires us not only to treat people with respect, but to also actively reach out to them and serve them. So helping them on a daily basis. And you are responsible for your people. In our company, it's our Gen Zero. That's who we're responsible for. We're responsible for helping them grow and build their business and become leaders. We are still responsible for helping our leaders, but once they become a leader, they have their own organization to work with. Yes, they can come to us with questions if they need help. We kind of leave that open door open for them. If you need me, call me. But we're responsible for our people. And if you're not serving your people, your Gen Zero in our company, and you're out here serving all these other people, then you're not a leader. You are a leader, but not to your people. You're just taking a walk with your people and helping others. And we can all get caught up in that and helping others. And I love to help other people, especially my friends that are in, different groups with me. But I have to focus on my people, and you need to focus on your people. You need to add value to your Gen Zero. I need to add value to my Gen Zero. Yes, we can share ideas and learn from each other. And that's kind of what this group is all about, is learning those ideas. But we have to serve our people. The attitude of the leader affects the atmosphere of your team. If you desire to add value by serving others, you will become a better leader. Your people will achieve more. You will develop more loyalty and have a better time getting things done than you ever thought possible. That's the power of the law of addition. The bottom line in leadership isn't how far we advance ourselves. Again, it's how we advance others. If you can't give some evidence that you're making things better for your team, then you're probably a subtractor. 90% of all people who subtract do it unintentionally. And it's the same thing with those who do it intentionally. They do it on purpose. When you add value, you are doing it intentionally. You're working on helping people be better. Add enough value to enough people and your efforts multiply. But guess what? If you're not adding, you're subtracting and you're taking value away. So you have to be intentional about what you're doing, helping others. Are you making things better for the people who follow you? So here's a little activity. Name 5 people in your personal life that are closest to you. I put my husband as number 1. Next to each name, write 3 ways you show them that you care. If you cannot write 3 ways to show them you care daily, write 3 ways you're willing to. And it's a chore sometimes, but you know what? It was a great activity. I learned a lot from this. Now name 5 people in your business life that you lead. Next to each name, write 3 ways that you display actions every day of caring, sharing, and lifting them up. Now ask yourself, are you willing to do this without recognition? It isn't about you. It's about adding value to them. Leading others to the law of addition. So if you have problems with your team, or they're working on leadership and they're having these problems, you can lead them to the law of addition. You can ask them, when and where are you a servant leader? When do you get impatient and or resentful? Are there tasks beneath your dignity and position? Make it a practice to perform small acts of service without seeking credit. And what do people closest to you value? You can ask them these questions, lead them back to this law. You don't have to say, okay, leadership law number blah, blah, blah says this. But you can use these stories that I'm sharing with you, these ideas, to help your team members. The law of solid ground is our last one. This is where we talk about trust. Trust is the foundation of leadership. Trust is like change in a leader's pocket. Each time you make good leadership decisions, you earn more change. But as you make poor decisions, you lose change. All leaders have a certain amount of change in their pocket when they start a new leadership position. When you're out of change, you're out as the leader. Charisma gets you through the door, but character keeps you inside the door. It's an inside job, and we always need to be working on our character. What does integrity look like? Consistency. Leaders without inner strength can't be counted on day after day because their ability to perform changes constantly. Character communicates potential. Weak character is limiting. Who do you think that has the greatest potential to achieve great dreams? Someone who is honest, disciplined, and great with dreams, and hardworking, or someone who is deceitful, impulsive, and isn't very trustworthy? Also, Be authentic, be who God made you to be, and then make sure you're disciplined and work daily. Thanks, guys.